Welcome to Crimson Guitars, welcome to my home studio, and welcome to Nebula 2. Okay, I am in the process of building a fan-fret, multi-scaled acoustic, small-bodied acoustic guitar in a completely non-standard way. It started out as a non-standard electric and, well, we're here. In this episode, I'm going to be playing around with carving braces on the back. I will be joining the back and the sides, and it's gonna be, well, we're nearly there. This guitar is starting to come together. I am uncertain what I'm doing with the neck yet. I'm uncertain how it's gonna sound. I'm uncertain about many, many things. What I'm certain about, though, is that this episode was sponsored by Skillshare. I'll let you know more about that later. The Go Bar deck is fantastic. As we found out last week, it is not quite strong enough. I can reinforce top and bottom, or a couple of you fantastic people suggested just putting a bunch of weights on the top, and that will actually work very well. Anyway, moving forward, let us remove all of these flimsy bits of stick, some of which broke. Yes, I should have used carbon fiber, or pretty much anything else would have done just as well, but I don't have access to that here right now. And with those removed, it is time to start carving away. Okay, voiceover, Talitha. Using the Go deck built around a couple of radius dishes has allowed me to clamp with relatively light pressure spread along the length of each brace. A brace to a back at a given radius, and the whole point of this endeavor is to make the back, and a little bit later in this video, the top, much stiffer than it currently is. This is, as has been mentioned in the comments below, a very loose, wobbly, not particularly strong type of wood. It is intensely gorgeous, but that also means that it does not have good strong grain running all the way along, etc. It is, however, maple, so fairly hard as well, and I think we're going to be all right in the end. Anyway, the braces have added a certain amount of stiffness, and the next stage is to carve away some of that stiffness to then help me arrive at a back that has the tone or the tonality that we want. Now remember, we're building an electroacoustic guitar. This was never meant to be a particularly awesome acoustic instrument. However, the closer we can get to that, the better. Absolutely. Onwards. You can use that last, if you want to obviously go back to my smouldering look into the camera towards the end of that, feel free, whatever. I don't care. You're the editor. Yo, fam. So damn cool. We're getting there. Beautiful. Do I need reinforcement down the center line? I don't know. Let's see after we carve it. Tone head. I've got a tone head. Ha! That's similar to, but completely dissimilar from, cone head. If you're old, you'll know what I'm on about. I don't need to do it this way, but it's going to be prettier. Nobody's ever going to see it, but I mean, like maybe 30, 40,000 people is going to see it, but still. It's as simple as I'm making the end swoopy bits go in a pleasing curve rather than just a flat on the end to the same distance out, just because I fancy it, really. I suppose that's the one. And then on this side, there. Anyway. Clamp. Clamping call. No, don't do that. No, let's do this differently. Okay, I have made a decision. I am not going to bore you with watching me glue down the braces. The bracing. All of the bracing. Where am I? Oh, I am. Yeah, sorry. Okay. I want to carve this once the braces are gluing on this. That'll be a little bit more efficient. I've come to the realization that because I'm making videos, the way I build guitars is more of the hobbyist kind of. I'm not worried about saving time. I'm not worried about being the most efficient human being in a workshop ever, because I don't have to. I can, I can take my time. The product is a guitar, yes, but it's also a video. So I tend not to think about what is the most efficient use of my time. However, I want an X brace on here. Maybe even a double X brace. Yes, double X brace. So I'm going to make those braces quickly. I'm not going to talk through it. You watched the process last week. I'm going to use the radius dishes, the names of which just escaped me, of course. I had somebody call me out in the comments the other day for my overly long pauses, and I can't remember the word he used, but pretentious or something along those lines. It's not me being pretentious or trying to amp up the suspense. That was it, suspense. It is literally my slow brain clicking into gear. I'm sorry, it's just me. Braces, let's make some braces. The beginning of that last clip where I put the thing on the bench after I finished planing all of this down, because obviously I need to plane this down. Sorry. Okay, now a bunch of you in the comments below last week, yes, I just did massive splinter myself, asked, I digress, why I was bothering to split the wood and then plane it, because surely splitting it to get straight grain and no runoff of grain is one thing, but then you're planing through the outside pattern and getting some runoff. The reason for that is that 90% of this piece of wood here has straight grain going through the middle, and I'm tidying up the outsides, sure, but the core of it is grain from one end to the other. If I chopped from this side, then only, because there's grain going off at 30 degrees or so, if I just bandsawed that off and planed it down to the right thickness, etc., I would have grain going off, and I wouldn't have a single length of grain from one end to the other. And that would basically mean that it's weak, it's not transmitting tone properly, and it would not be good. So I'm making sure I've got something bigger than I need, with straight grain going all the way through, and then planing it and being sorted. So that being said, I need to go and find my axe. I mean, find it, I know where it is, it's just off camera. Just here. There we go. Having this knot here is not lol. Oh my god, I said lol. It's not ideal. Lol. And here's what's happening. This is that face that somebody had bandsawed off, and you'll see the runoff. Not ideal. So what I'm going for is a double X-brace system. Most steel string guitars have an X-brace and then fans going off it and extra bits and pieces. However, Gibson in the 70s and various other people have done a double X-brace, which means we've then got another X sort of going off under there. You've still got a bridge patch and then another brace supporting it up here. That's probably less necessary, but nonetheless, that's what we're going to do. I might put a few smaller braces there to spread the sound to the sides and then to the back, but we will see. Essentially, the wood is a little floppy. It needs help, basically. And this is going to be a very strong way of doing that. Onwards. Woohoo. Okay, hi, how you doing? The top has a much bigger radius, and I'm going to have to use another trick. I shouldn't have dropped that, because that's just going to screw with the sound editing. Sorry, Talitha. I'm going to use another trick, and it's simple. It's a washer. Means I need to go find a washer, doesn't it? There we go. So you need a washer with a base that is basically, aha, that's the one. You need a washer that is wider there than the largest gap there. And if I do this intelligently, I do it from here. You put your pencil in the washer and draw along, and you have your curve. All nice, like onwards. I meant to do that. Nah, let's do this the easy way. Perfection. With the two main X braces carved, shaped, and pretty much ready to go, apart from a little bit of fiddling, I need to figure out exactly where my bridge is going to be. The very first thing that I actually need to glue down is the bridge patch, which is a large section of basically flat wood that is going to add a lot of support underneath the bridge. And well, before I can do all of that, before I can mark out where the X-brace is going, etc., bearing in mind I'm not doing any of this with a set of plans, for example, I need to put my neck on the top, figure out where it's jointing, i.e. 16th fret, and do some measurements. This is, of course, a multi-scale neck as well. Woohoo! So yes, essentially that. Where is my long ruler? Aha! I was lucky I couldn't find this earlier. Perfection. So, there's the bridge. I want those to be directly underneath the two outer sections of the bridge, and then we're going to have our other X-brace here and a patch in between. I need to join that. Looks a little bit weird here, of course, but we're meeting in the center and we are an equal distance away from the center line, well, wherever we are. Which probably isn't necessary, but hey. Now, just a quick, interesting aside. If I'd been going standard jazz guitar, I would just have two, or maybe even one, braces like that. And that would... But I chose an X-brace system because of how it sounds. So there. So essentially, we're removing this material. This brace is going down over, and we remove the top and make them fit perfectly, like so. Put them. Nearly. Let's tidy up the bottom of that slot. Little way to go. Not going to take long to get there though. With that done, I can make absolutely certain where my bridge plate is going to go. And it's pretty much exactly where I wanted it to. Woohoo! If you don't have one of these yet, please go to Crimson Guitars. It's amazing. I sincerely hope you have them in stock right now. Now that being said, I do want another X brace basically there. Basically there. Exactly there. That'll do. So that's my bridge patch. There. Come along then. Now, the bridge patch is normally made out of rosewood, 3, maybe 4 millimeters thick, and it needs to be unflawed. Perfect. Pure as the driven snow. I'm not going to use rosewood. I'm going to use a piece of flamed sycamore because, well, it has similar sort of characteristics, and it's absolutely fine. So I suppose the main reason I'm using this though is I have it. It's already the right thickness, and from the inside of the guitar, it's going to look better. It is. I now find myself doubting as to whether anybody's ever going to see it, in fact, because the X bracing will hide it quite nicely. But nonetheless, we're going with that, and leave me alone. This brings me on to a very interesting point, actually. Tone wood. In my opinion, at least sycamore, which is pseudo sycamore maple, I think is a Latin name, and basically it's in the maple family. Sycamore, at the very least, has very similar characteristics in terms of stability and strength, etc., as the rosewoods that I'm used to getting here as well, the sort of Indian rosewood type things. And if one thinks one can hear the difference between those two things in an electric guitar, well, you have better hearing than I do. Anyway, let's get on and mark this out. Fight me in the comments, please. Yeah, I'm up for that. Obviously that was voiceover for all of this making. Let's glue it down. Excuse me. For this part of the top, you do not use the go bar deck, go deck. That strange clamping mechanism that we made last week. Just a couple of 3 big clamps. And clamping calls. Spread the pressure. It's like marriage. I suppose you want this going through at super speed. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? So what we really have here is a clamped-in bridge core and a gorgeous piece of wood. Over here we have, well, a random piece of rubbish, excess brace material. We have a beautiful back and sides, waiting fine sanding, a back that requires carving and fine sanding, etc., etc. I suspect that tomorrow, for it is now 8-ish at night, and I have had special dispensation to work late. Tomorrow I'm going to glue in all of the rest of the braces on the top. I am going to fine sand the internal sections of the sides. I am going to carve the braces on the back. I'm going to fine sand the internals of the back, and I am going to glue the back to the sides. not sure what else we're going to do after that, but we'll see there. Probably carve all of the braces on the top if that has worked. That was useless. You didn't quite see it, and then I hit the camera on the ceiling because I've got a low ceiling here because I chose the wrong shed to buy. I'm wasting your time. I'm sorry. Good night. I am freshly coffeeed up and almost a functional member of society again. I'm going to glue the X-brace on, I'm going to carve some braces, and we'll see what happens. The carving is going to involve chisels and hand planes and finesse, he says arrogantly. I'm really not sure what it's going to involve, but it's going to be fun. And there we go. Ta-da! We don't have much sound. Let's see if we can fix that. The bridge patch is right underneath that knot. Anyway, you don't need to know that. You need to know that I'm going to get the Go deck up. Before I glued down the bridge patch, or anything else for that matter, it would have made sense to erase the pencil lines. Basically, leaving them makes it look like there's an issue with the joint, and that is unfortunate. So an eraser, a scraper, bit of sandpaper, clean up around, and we will move on. A mini Crimson Guitars tiny little gorgeous scraper, of course. How do you sharpen a scraper, let alone a Crimson Guitars mini scraper, I hear you ask? Well, in the next 30 seconds, I'm going to show you. First of all, you use a leveling beam or a good flat sharpening stone to flatten the sides at 90 degrees and to polish them up. You do not want any scratches or scrapes along here. That will show in your finish. And the sides. Once you're happy with the finish on the edge and sides of the scraper, I tend to go to 240 or 320 grit paper, but you can go higher. You take a hardened steel scraper, you take a hardened steel burnisher, put the scraper flat down on something, and work hard on the edge. You are drawing the edge out a little bit and making the steel a little bit harder. Then next up, you put your scraper in a vise or hold it over the edge of a nice flat square-edged bench and turn a burr. At about 3 to 5 degrees, you will get a feel for this with practice. And you're done. If you can get it out of the vise, of course. I feel 30 seconds may well have been a little bit overambitious and clickbaity, but I don't regret it. Do you? Hope not. On with the work. I needed some weight on the top of this, and it took me longer than I care to admit to realise I had a small anvil. So Italy, so this little bit needs to be before the anvil. All right, well, at this stage, I have got my X-brace, I've got my Go deck, there's a weight on the top to stop any unnecessary movement, and it's gonna be fun. Let's see what happens. Not quite centered enough. Where are we? And it's gonna be fun. Let's see what happens. So that works out all right. The one thing I needed to do was add clamps. It was lifting up, the tension was lifting that up, and having the having the anvil up there sorted out the top, but we were still changing the base. Let that be a lesson to you. Or me. Us. Yes, us. It's fairly stiff, but not stiff enough. I need a center brace. I do. This is not going to be a perfect acoustic guitar. Hell, even if it was made with traditional acoustic guitar woods, it would not be a perfect acoustic guitar. It's small and shallow, but I do want to get the best I can out of it. Anyway, that's not doing what I wanted to do. I want a center brace, and then I'm going to scallop these down a bit more because it's both not stiff enough and not vibrating enough. Yeah. Come on then. So it's both. It's not quite stiff enough, but it's also not loose enough. I don't know. I've got a tap tone going on here. It's not bad, but it's not going across the whole instrument. I need to add a center brace as a result of that, and then I can remove material. So I'm going to have something fairly chunky, and then I will remove more material, and we will see where we end up. Yes, we'll do that. Okay, so I'm using a long, thin piece, and I'm gonna vault it or arch it over these cross braces. And the neck is going to be here. So we're going to about there, really. Now, before I can do anything there is I have to rescue my Go deck. This is cured. So, progress in the process. This is immediately stiffer and more responsive than the back is, and it's homogeneous. So yeah, more bracing on the top. I've got my curve on here, the radius. I'm getting incredibly excited about this whole thing. Obviously, I need to add more and then do carving and free it up a bit. This should be all right, actually. I didn't doubt it for a second. Okay, flip that over, make a back brace, glue that in, do some carving. You don't need me to talk a lot during all this, so here's just a massive montage. Woohoo. Oh, yes. Gonna move an anvil, don't I? Come on, then. Should have done it from the other side. Really should have. Move. Out the way, lamp. Idiot. Fool. Now, this video has been sponsored by Skillshare. They are a fantastic company with thousands and thousands of different classes in a multitudinous array of subjects, most of which interest me. There is the old saying, a jack of all trades, master of none. We don't finish that these days, but the ending of that is often better than a master of one. And that is me. I absolutely love knowing huge amounts of stuff about many different things. And it pays off. I'm a guitar builder. Yes, I'm a woodworker. I'm a petty engineer. I need to know about video editing and light. And to run the company, I need to know about advertising and accountancy and all of these crazy things, most of which you can find a class on Skillshare. So if you are curious, if you're interested in knowing, then please check it out. And yeah, the first 1,000 people that sign up, that click the link below, will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium, and it's amazing. Please go and check it out. This week I have done several courses, but the one that I've just finished is making video for Instagram. How to make compelling, what is it? Tell a story in less than a minute by Helisa Norvies. I can't say her name. Norvies? Anyway, fix that for me. Something I've just done is a course on video for Instagram. How to make a video in a minute or less. Nope. A course I've just done is video for Instagram. Tell a story in less than a minute by Helisa Norvies. And I know half of what she told me, but the rest is new to me, and I've been doing this for years. So yeah, please go check it out. There are no ads, there's new content all the time. If you sign up for an annual subscription, it's less than $10 a month, and well, it's well worth it. Anyway, that's enough of that. Thank you for watching. Click like, subscribe, go and build a guitar, make some sawdust, or, I don't know, hug your family. We'll see. I love you guys. Goodbye.